Hi folks, welcome to another episode of Cooking with Tony. This week we're going to go ahead and make a cream of potato with bacon soup. So let me show you what we need to get started. Okay, for this simple to make recipe, I've got my bacon. I've got some onions I've had left over from when I did my onion rings that are diced up and be ready to go. I'm going to use rosemary, some heavy whipping cream, chicken broth, some black pepper, some sea salt, some regular milk, and some golden potatoes here. These I'm going to peel and dice these up to about 1-inch chunks to start. Then we will cut up the bacon into little pieces and fry them up, and use the grease to do the onions with about 3 tablespoons of butter. Okay, for this recipe I like to use gold potatoes. I believe they cook quicker. They have more flavor than the russets or the other potatoes. And another nice quality I like about them is they don't brown as quickly as the others did in the oxygen. I peeled all these potatoes and I haven't even soaked them in water yet. So now I'm going to dice them up into little pieces, about 1 inch. And about like so right there, and put them back into my colander so I can wash them at the end. So let me do this real quickly. Okay, now that I got my potatoes all diced up and ready to go, I'm going to rinse these off one more last time. And in the meantime, I'm going to take my bacon and cut it up. Usually I'll freeze my bacon, throw it in the freezer so it gets a little stiffer. But I'm pressed for time, so I'm just going to bypass that. So that it makes it a lot easier to cut. And I'm just going to throw it into a stock pot here. Now for you non-meat eaters, you don't need to add the bacon. It'll still be delicious. And instead of using chicken stock, you can use vegetable stock. Remember to tuck your fingers in when you're using your knife. I like to use a Dexter Russell. If anyone's interested in purchasing a Dexter Russell knife, I'll leave the link down below. Okay, let's get this in the pot and cook it up. And rinse off my potatoes in the meantime. I almost forgot about the garlic, so we want to clean some garlic real quickly. That looks like about a good portion of garlic there. If you're a garlic lover, you can use a little more. A lot of times I'll just run it through a mincer, but I think I'm just going to mince it up real quickly with my knife here. Cut the ends off. Just like so. Ready to go into the pot. I'm starting to brown my bacon. Okay, as you see, my bacon's ready. So I'm going to remove it from the pot. Put it on a paper towel. Okay, I'm going to take and keep some of my bacon grease here. But I'm not going to keep it all, so I'm going to discard some. Turn my heat back on. I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of butter. Now, I love the flavor of butter, but if you're not a meat lover and you don't want to use bacon or any of that, just the butter will work fine. And you can add your onions. These are onions I had in the freezer from when I made my onion ring. Get all the flavors from the bacon on him. Okay, I've been simmering my onions for about 3-4 minutes. I'm going to add my garlic to it now. Let this go for another minute or two. Then I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of flour and let that simmer for a minute or two to cook the flour out. And after that, I'm going to add 32 ounces of chicken broth and work that in, as well as my potatoes and the rest of my seasonings. Right now I have my flame on about medium-high. All those flavors are smelling good to me. My flour. Work that in, let that cook. Yeah, I'm constantly stirring this, so since I'm using it on high heat, I think I'm going to bring it down to about medium. Okay, now I'm ready to add my stock. I'm adding 32 ounces of chicken broth or chicken stock. They'll both work good. Keep stirring. You don't want your flour to lump up on you. Bring my heat back up again. Okay, right now I'm going to add me about 1.5 teaspoons of pepper, because I love pepper. You can add a little less if you like. You can tell I'm an eyeball cook. My salt, I'm going to do about 1.5 teaspoons also. You can always add more salt later. Take my rosemary sprig and throw that in there. Stir this up. And I'm back up to medium-high heat to bring it back to a boil again. Okay, my stock's coming up to a boil. I'm going to add my potatoes. Stir this in. And I'm going to let this simmer for about 30 minutes on medium-low. And I'm going to stir it occasionally because we don't want anything to scorch on the bottom. And that way it cooks evenly. As you can see, we're coming along nicely. The potatoes are almost done. Some people put their cream and a little splash of milk in there ahead of time. I actually like to wait till the end, because if you boil it too rapidly, it can cause the dairy products to separate. And I like to be able to freeze my soup for later and that when it's done, so I do that at the very end here. Okay, it's been close to 30 minutes. I'm gonna check my potatoes, see how they're coming. That's perfect. This is ready. I'm turning my heat off. Now if you have a potato masher, you can use a potato masher to work this up if you like. Otherwise, what I like to do, let me get my rosemary out of here. There we go. Let's take a mixer on low. Mix this in a little bit. And add my cream. Add some milk. I like to add about a cup of cream. That was a little shy of a cup. So I need to add a little more here. Alright, that's about a cup. Doesn't that just look delicious? Next, I'm going to add most of the bacon back in. Take just a little bit. I won't use the blender on that. I'll just stir that in with my... Look at how nice and creamy that looks. Okay, let's get ready for the finishing touches. Sprinkle with some cheese on top. I like cheese. My wife just likes a little bit of cheese. I like a lot of cheese. Add bacon on top to help make it look pretty. And here at this part you can use finely cut chives, diced up chives, or that. I'm just going to use some parsley for some color. And we're ready for a taste test here. Okay folks, it's time for the moment of truth here. See how this turns out. This is just delicious. The bacon and the butter, along with the cheese and all this rosemary blends, it just helps enhance this soup, the potatoes. And again, like I said, I love the flavor of the golden potatoes. They really taste delicious. Margaret, how do you feel about it?
It's very delicious, wonderful, creamy.
And it is amazing. You would love this dish if you made it. Once again, I'd like to thank you for watching another episode of Cooking with Tony. If you like this, hit that big red subscribe button for me and follow me for other cooking adventures. Give me a likes and a thumbs up. Thank you again, and may God bless you.